As third-string quarterback now for the Mounties into this game. Simcoe into the mix.
Simcoe, a freshman, will probably be in the running to start next year at quarterback for Mount SAC. Drops the snap, and he's going down inside his own 5 to the 2.
So you hear the ready, pump block ready. They're assuming that they can just pin them down here after this next play on a third and a loss of a few yards there.
Continue to run under 7.5 minutes remaining. Third and long here. Simcoe to pass. Gonna air it out downfield and picked off. Terrence Williams, the sophomore, 5'11" out of Dunbar High School in Maryland, comes up with the interception. Simcoe throws the pick, and Fullerton College will start at the Mountie 36.
It's the most energy I've seen the sideline today. They're excited about a pick that will, even if it gives them a touchdown here, I mean, they're really excited like you've just won the game right now. But whatever can spark the team to get them going, but it's going to be too little too late with 7:12 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
So Fullerton College will start at Mountie 37. Let's bring on Nick Rice. We need to talk to him about the matchup with Riverside and Ventura.
Nick Rice?
Get over here, Nick Rice. Get over here.
Paging Nick Rice.
Paging Nick Rice.
Paging Nick Rice.
I don't think he can hear very well.
Paging Nick Rice.
Let's talk a little bit about the matchup tonight, Nick Rice, as we welcome in the play-by-play man for RCC.
Why am I here?
You're watching the Southern California champions out there.
I actually taking a look at this game, and listen, I know Mount SAC is phenomenal, but Fullerton really came up empty in this game.
They really did.
This is really embarrassing, to be completely honest. Do love what they bring back next year offensively. I wonder what their numbers are as far as offensive production, and it was relatively solid, but this is horrible. 44-6.
Let's talk about the matchup tonight between Riverside and Ventura, as Jeffrey will step up in the pocket and now roll to the far side of the field and take off and run, and he's out of bounds after getting back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Ventura, when Mount SAC, a lot of the Mountie fans, weren't very impressed with Jalen Brady, who was the starter all the way back in week 3. The Mounties, an easy 27-3 victory over Ventura College, but Evans has stepped into that starting role. Stanton's still a strong running back. Does Ventura have a chance tonight against the Tigers, or is it a shoo-in for a Mount SAC and Riverside rematch in the Southern California Championship?
Boy, that's about it's about as realistic a possibility as Dan winning in a bet. But as we take a look at that ball game, I think the difference is
Dan happy to be here right now, or what?
Oh, he's thrilled. This is a very close ball game. 38 points. As we take a look at this coming matchup, if Ventura wants to win, they're going to have to win the turnover battle. Same deal with just about any team in the playoffs, but one thing that's awfully encouraging here, Chris, is that Ventura is the best in the state in turnover differential. It's been a ball club that's opportunistic, and as we see in this ball game, Fullerton has had their opportunities following turnovers. They've just been unable to cash in. If you cash in off turnovers, you got yourself a serious chance, and I think Ventura, it's not going to be 44-6. I'll tell you that right now. 1st and 10 for Fullerton College from the Mountie 28, and Jeffrey straight up the gut is met by a convoy of Mounties there to bring him down. It'll be fun in a week, though.
It will be fun.
Yeah,
if in fact that does come to fruition. Under 6 minutes left to go here, 44-6, the Mounties lead. We've had a lot of extracurricular activity going on after the plays here in the second half. Fullerton out of it, but I mean, you were there when Riverside and Fullerton got in a little bit of a scrum after the game. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, if you're a fan of blood and guts, you came to the perfect place. They had 2 different fights, one after the game. Police had to come onto the field. It's this Fullerton team, boy. If they lose, they make sure you know it, as they throw their fair share of punches, and most of which come after the whistle. But boy, the Hornets, I don't know if it's maybe a change in coaching staff, but how in the world did this team last year go 12-0?
I think they just lost so much. But I mean, you bring up a great point. It's been a major drop-off from last year.
Because you can even look at maybe the bottom of the barrel in the Central Conference that had a better fight against SAC than this. This 44-6
in the playoffs on the road.
Yeah,
incredible. Jeffrey on the end around Maxwell will try to find some room inside the 20.
But then I will give you this then.
Down for a loss of 1.
Maybe Mount SAC had potentially their best game of the year this week, or at least
that's what
today.
I mean. Watching the entire thing from start to finish, I know you guys got here early in the second half. I mean, I'd agree.
How many sacks have they had tonight?
7.
7 sacks.
7 of the starter for Hay. I think they've gotten to Jeffrey, the backup, a couple of times. What a matchup it's going to be again next week.
As I think the reason why it's going to be a phenomenal game, Riverside, passing-wise, obviously below average if you take a look at the numbers. Mount SAC, number 1 in the state in sacks.
And here's the scary thing for Riverside, and here's a scary thing for SAC. I'll give it to you both ways.
Yeah.
Riverside still won and only passed for 95 yards last time against Mount SAC. But the Mounties turned over the ball 5 times and only lost by 4 points.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really anyone's game.
It wasn't like those turnovers were at random times first half.
They were crucial times.
Fourth quarter, inside the 5, like scoring position.
2 inside the 5. You had the pick 6 that Broughton had.
Yeah.
Watson should have had a pick 6, but then he fumbled it back to the Mounties in a sequence that I don't know we'll ever see again.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Third and long here. Jeffrey end around once again. Maxwell, lots of room. Inside the 15, inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's out of bounce right around the 3-yard line. And perhaps with 3:49 left to go in the game, Fullerton College finally can smell the end zone.
They did it with Riverside, garbage touchdown. What I can say about that Watson pick and just about anything, all I can say is, wow. Wow. But as we get
oh, boy. It's too much. What do you think about Butte? They're out. Okay, you have the last year's Southern California champ out and the NorCal champion out.
Is San Francisco moving on too?
They were beaten down on Ciabatta at the half.
Yeah, they had a chance.
Ciabatta.
American River and San Francisco, and then what should be Mount SAC and Riverside. Everything's right back to normal.
Isn't it?
And I do think next year the Hornets, given that they switch things
be great
up,
offensively.
they'll be talented, but will they be mature enough to handle that much talent?
Well,
obviously, in this game, they
have themselves their first play inside the 5 tonight, and it took them all but almost the entire game. Under 3 minutes left to play. 44-6, the Mounties lead. Second and goal for Fullerton. The backup quarterback Jeffrey in now. The lone back Aron Maxwell. They'll hand it off to Maxwell, and Maxwell into the end zone. Touchdown Hornets. First time I've been able to say that tonight.
Yeah.
Just the second time in 2 matchups that the Hornets have been able to punch one into the end zone against the Mounties. And with 2:53 left to go, a garbage touchdown for Fullerton College.
I know the winner of the Southern California Championship will take on, in their own house, the winner of the Northern California Championship. Why not have it here?
I know. This is a beautiful stadium.
Why not? Riverside probably holds half as many as this. And that stadium is not the newest in the area.
Yeah, with some very nice high school. Just 5 years old.
Man. Next week, if you're in for maybe overtime drama, if you're in for back and forth.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So the SEC brings it every week. Junior college will have it for one Saturday.
Well, Fullerton going to convert here on 2 points is
Bill
Lutzen with the catch in the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion and the lead. Watch out. Cut to 30 points with 2:53 to play.
You already know that coaching staff's thinking a comeback here in Chappelle Stadium.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that matchup tonight coming up in 2 hours from now. Riverside and Ventura.
Yeah. We'll bring you the second half of that matchup.
Oh, you will be there in time. We'll be there in time. We can use this mixer if you want.
Oh, that'll be phenomenal.
And this laptop.
Where'd you get that?
Atlas Loan and Jewelry. Still 2:53 to go. I was talking to Brian about it. You know how we had the running clock in high school when it's a blowout? What do you think? You don't want that for junior college football?
They need one for Fullerton College Hornet games. Wow, this is really bad. And I feel horrible for Joey Verhaeghe kid, who's actually looked really good given he has time to throw. I think he's played a relatively decent, at least second half. It's just that defensive line for Mount Sac is just dominant. I can't explain to you why they never sacked Nicholas King in that game against Riverside. I have no idea.
Well, King, very elusive.
Very, very elusive. And you look at it, and the Tigers, despite winning that game, there were probably 20 different occasions where they probably shouldn't have had a ball bounce their way, but it did. But then you take a look at Mount Sac, and the Tigers only had 95 yards passing. It's going to be phenomenal. What's crazy about that game against the Tigers and the Mounties is they will probably play in a week, yet we still know nothing about that game.
No. Looks like Fullerton College going to try an onside kick here. Why won't you? And the Mounties are going to get it. Fullerton was offside, so a penalty marker will fly in to the near side of the field. Chris Waldenberger, the linebacker for the Mounties, able to recover the onside kick here. And all the Mounties got to do is run off some clock.
That's right.
And roll to their first Southern California championship appearance since 2012 after the rare year off out of the postseason last year.
And I think this will actually, next week, you take a look at it, and obviously these running backs, not the starters but I think not only Omar Stolber, but Aaron Vaughns and Gates will be the X factors.
Yeah.
If you guys can continue to move the chains, continue to chew up clock, that's going to be the difference. Wait, why don't we just get that game in Ventura going already?
Why don't we get that game with Mount Sac and Riverside going already?
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I was unsure if the Mounties were going to look past Fullerton. Looking ahead to RCC,
Obviously
they did
not. Obviously.
And they really had with the bye week last week, they essentially had 2 weeks to prep for Fullerton.
Or prep mostly for Riverside.
Orozco back in there for the Mounties. He'll hand off to Marcellus Hunter, who's down to the 35-yard line for a 4-yard pickup. And all the Mounties need is a first down here, and then they can line up in victory formation and send themselves to the Southern California Championship game next week and take on either Riverside or Ventura.
Well, we can just make it as simple as it needs to be. Well, you go into the game, and it really it could go either way, given that the Tigers bring their A game, especially in the second half. I think the most talented team in California, not just in Southern California, but the entire state, is Mount Sac. I think they are the most talented ball club.
I agree. And
the Tigers
the offers might not show it, but this is a young ball club. A lot of these guys, freshmen, the Talma Avena twins, Aaron Vaughns, Tony Gates.
I think when you offer a Riverside kid, it's safe. When you, I guess, recently offer Mount Sac, that's all I could tell you. I mean, I don't understand why the offers aren't coming in.
I think everything has to do with academics, and that's what I talked to Jastrab about. If all these guys are on point academically, they're going to the next level.
That's right.
And, of course, you got the academic issues over at Riverside, so we don't know if Deshaun Broughton's going to play tonight.
That's probably why he's only getting committed to Oregon State. He has the potential to get offered by
Alabama?
Alabama.
Yeah, he's that good. Mounties know that. He had a pick 6 against them and 2 other interceptions as well. 3 total in the win for Riverside about a month ago. Delayed handoff here. This is Logo. Freshman running back out of
he has more time to
out of Mayfair High School, and he's down around a Mountie first down. It'll be 4th and short, and up by 30 points. Minute 08 left to go. Why not go for it?
What was your takeaway from this ball game? I mean, did Christopher Gilchrist play well today?
Had the opening touchdown on a free play where Fullerton jumped offside. I mean, the tandem at receiver for Mount Sac. Macon on one side, Gilchrist on the other side. Pick your poison.
What's really interesting is that other than Isaac Whitney, I don't even think any of our other receivers would even make the backup squad from Mount Sac.
4th and short here. I formation for the Mounties. They'll wait to snap it.
You guys still have Ryan Simpson in there as well.
Handoff, Hunter. Stiff arms a man, and that'll be a first down, and that'll be the final play from Chappelle Stadium.
Fullerton College thinking about time.
Well, that'll do it. Austin Steele, the best defensive player for Fullerton College, appropriately making the tackle to end it here, but unfortunately his team, the defending Southern California champions,
have to run another play.
Well, one more play.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anything
Does
is
Mount Sac try to get a touchdown?
No, they won't. Well, Fullerton College is coming out on the field here, and they need to get off because this one.
The referee's probably calling it over. They should.
Well, the teams will shake hands at the center of the field, I do think, and that'll do it. The Mounties emphatically will move on to the Southern California Championship. They take down the defending Southern California champions.